Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave above me. And today we have 2001's Fast and Furious, Vin Diesel's vehicle to spawn off a hell of a franchise. This is one of my all-time favorite franchises. Some better than others. I got to hear your take on what you thought about Fast and Furious.
Wow. We watched, I think it was 1954 or 1964?
Yeah, 54.
54. Fast and Furious. This one struck me as almost as good. The storyline, especially. I mean, that the acting was just par excellent with the original Fast and Furious, I felt.
That's a fair statement.
The racing was a little bit better.
It's a lot better. It's a lot better. Let's face it. Some great car cinematography in here.
There was a couple of scenes that I did like, but really, for me, none of this made the slightest bit of sense. Like, none of this would have happened. And if it did,
correct.
There's no way these guys, as savvy as they are, would have not pegged what's his name as a cop.
I know. Well, that one guy did.
The one guy who did, you don't.
Vince
like
did.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. But it was bad. For me, it was bad writing.
That's fair.
Bad writing, bad acting. The only thing it had going for it were girls with their navels pierced. And even that, I'm too old to enjoy it. So it was like, yeah, put some clothes on. But I don't know how this thing spawned a freaking franchise. Well, like, honest to God, if I would have watched this movie at the theater when it first came out, I would have said, no way do they get a sequel. I would have said, no way. As of right now, I'm looking at this thing trying to figure out, how in the hell did they get a sequel?
Well, I will talk about that. How did they get
10 of them made so far?
10 of them. Yes, 10 of them. We're not going to count number 10. So
was it that bad? Was it worse than this one?
I find it absolutely atrocious. I'd prefer it was never made.
I know how you feel.
Okay. And hey, that's fair. This movie, this is the most serious of the Fast and Furious movies, the most grounded in reality of the movies. Dave, later on, we have stuff involving nuclear submarines, launching cars, jumping from the Burj Khalifa in Saudi Arabia, right, all the way to a Fiero in space. Chasing airplanes, coming out of airplanes. This series goes off the rails, batshit crazy, and it's in a fun way. It's when I watch anything in this series, it's like unplug. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be fantastic. Right. Laws of physics be damned. And then it's a fun movie. This one is they thought they were being serious. The acting is not so good.
And I like Vin Diesel. I really do. I like Vin Diesel in a lot of stuff I've seen him in. He's not the greatest actor, but he's a good action star. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, shitty actor, but a good action star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's how I've always liked Vin Diesel. But I was watching him in this, and I kind of liked his character. I think it was stupid. This, I think, is the thing that ticks me off, because they built this cop up defending him the whole time. There was absolutely no proof shown to the audience that he was actually behind any of the shit going on.
Yeah.
All the evidence pointed at the Chinese guy. I know they had to have rewritten that so it could go to China. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's what happened. They wanted the Chinese guy to be not as bad a bad guy as he really was. But none of the story made sense. Vin Diesel, in his story arc, editing was terrible in this, by the way, in my opinion. Editing was absolutely horrendous. But Vin Diesel's character came off as a guy who was trying to stay out of prison, trying to stay cleaned up. That's how he portrayed himself. And I know people do that and they can fool you every once in a while. But this guy's supposed to be one of the best FBI agents, or whatever the hell copy
Mhm.
was, he would have been able to figure it out, even if he was hot for Vin Diesel's sister.
Well, that was the
There
main
was
thing, and that's what they were trying to show.
so much going on wrong with this. And then to show him as the bad guy ultimately, and with all these other people, at that point, that took all my sympathy away from him and his crew.
Yeah.
It just took it all away. And I was like, I hope he gets caught. I
Yeah,
hope
I get
that
it.
motherfucker goes back to prison.
So what happens with this series? Vin Diesel is not even in the sequel. I think there was
He's
a
not in the
contract.
second one?
No, he's not. I think he was arguing over money, and they said, "Screw you. We'll just make it with Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson." So they did,
All right.
and it's not a bad flick. It's another infiltrating some sort of crime ring, kind of same thing. So it eventually, what evolves is Vin Diesel's crew starts being used by a black ops government agency to do things around the world and infiltrate, Mission Impossible style. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's get some guys with their cars. I know it's stupid. It's stupid. I love this stupid. I'm sorry.
You know what? Maybe I'll watch one of the third ones or something, because I wanted to see the second one, because I was like, there's something that has to happen in the second one to make these
second
other
one's
9 movies that come behind, or 8, whatever the heck.
Well, and here's the problem. The first one and the second one are in chronological order. The third one is actually like the 5th or 6th. And they start moving around, and it's really because they start fucking with the timeline. They kill somebody in the third one and decided, oh shit, everybody loved that character. Let's make some other movies and then move it behind this movie. So it stretched it. It gets really weird. Vin Diesel does return in the third one, Tokyo Drift, at the end in a cameo.
He's in that one. Because the only reason I wanted to see
a cameo.
I was going to say, the only reason I wanted to see that one is I was like, it doesn't look like anybody from the first movies in that one. It looks like a couple of Japanese guys having a race. That's what I want to see.
I would love to watch that again. It is my favorite of the series, is Tokyo Drift, with Lucas Black as this kid from Alabama, and who just gets in trouble and gets sent to live with his dad in Tokyo and hooks up with the street racing scene. It's a fun movie. I love it. But they start it gets you hooked into it, and then you got to find out what the hell happens before and all of that. The movies get ridiculous, more ridiculous than this. I mean, at one point, Vin Diesel becomes almost like Hulk level strength, pulling walls down with chains in his hands. And it's like, no, but yeah.
The Captain America formula.
and the last one for me, Jason Momoa, ruined the movie because he was being a clown. While say what you will about Vin Diesel and crew, they all understood the assignment. This is a serious movie, even though it's not. Their characters were serious. Their characters believed it.
In the situation, they're serious.
Yes, they're serious and everything. Momoa was just like a psycho, and it's like, you're stupid. Go away. You're annoying.
Not a big fan of him anyway.
No. And I see that type of portrayal a lot from him, and it's like, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, I get that people may not like the Fast and Furious Vin Diesel films. They're a fun car movie. I enjoy them.
So I think Tokyo Drift and a few of the other ones are on Netflix for a little while longer. Maybe I'll watch Tokyo Drift and then see if I think you'll like it. One of the other ones, just to see because you do like them. I know you like them. That's why whenever you fucking talk about this, like, what am I missing? It's never a movie that I wanted to see. So what am I missing? And I'm watching it. And I would say about halfway through, it was over the halfway mark before I actually even got interested in it. Like, I really wanted to turn this movie off. There was nothing in this movie for me.
All right.
I'm not a car guy. I do love car racing. I love stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff that they were doing just didn't seem setting real world. It didn't seem real world to me. Like, I know there are street racers. I see what they do. I've seen them.
Yeah, it was a bit fantastic.
Yeah, I used to know guys who did stuff like that. I didn't see any of this. I'm like,
Well,
Okay, I don't think that's how that's going to work out, but you do you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think
I do
I
like
do
the
want
ending
to.
with Paul Walker handing him the car key. But again,
Yeah,
it's like you're a cop. You know this guy's wanted for a lot of crimes, man. It wasn't just regular crimes. This guy, they could have killed somebody, and I think didn't they throw one of the truckers out of a car or something, of a
yeah,
moving
yeah. Well,
vehicle? Or
that's why
something like
that's how the government's going to rope them in. They're either going to jail or they're going to work and do these missions. So
mm,
basically, is how this is. It's a Suicide Squad.
yeah.
So that's basically what. Damn, that's what the movies become.
Suicide Squad. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm gonna watch a couple of the later ones.
yeah.
Boy, that first one, and then you said that he's not even in the second one, so why would I even bother watching
No,
that? I just
unless you want to know the universe. A lot of people hate on Tokyo Drift. It's my favorite, but you know, everybody has
it
their own
just
favorite.
seemed like it had an anime samurai vibe to it for me, just in
It's
the sequel, or in not the sequel, but in
trailer.
the trailer. So I was like, that might actually be kind of cool to watch if it's
It's a fun
more,
one. It's
because
a
I could
fun
put
one.
my head into a live action anime movie.
Yeah.
I can make that leap.
This
But
one's got
there
it's
was
got a lot of
nothing
humor
in
and
this
everything.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing in this movie for me to make that leap and go, oh, okay, I'm just going to let my head go and enjoy the movie.
Fair
There's
enough.
For me, there was nothing really to enjoy all that much. Some of the racing was cool.
Yeah.
Um, the the weird warp drive during the race between Vin Diesel and Walker,
Snos, man.
I was just like, I've been in cars that had that and did that, and that it never did that. I never saw
You didn't
the
have a
warp
car
drive.
designed by Dominic Toretto.
This is true. This is true.
So what will happen if you watch some of these is some people die, but yet in the sequel they come back. So
Right.
it happens a lot. It gets good. It gets different. It gets different, especially when The Rock and John Cena appear, and it just gets
Right.
even crazier. Once Ludacris is in there, it gets really crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I like the one guy, the one rapper, and I can't think of his name, that was in the first one.
yeah, I think it's Ludacris. Yeah,
Was it? It wasn't Ludacris, was it?
yeah, I
I didn't
think
think it
so.
was. It was somebody. I thought it was somebody else.
Well, yeah, you know
Anyway,
what?
I
Yeah,
recognized the face, and I know that he was a rapper, and I could not place his name. But I remember seeing him and thinking, why didn't they have more of that guy in it? He was, for me, him and the Hispanic guy were the two most interesting guys in the movie. And they had like 3 lines each. They were the most
Yeah.
likable out of anybody. They were the most likable guys that I could look at and go, I understand these guys. I know who these guys are. I want to see more of these guys. And they didn't. They took the two guys that I like the most
Yeah.
and didn't get any lines.
It was, it's Ludacris is the rapper that is in here, but I don't,
Okay.
I don't know if that's, I don't know if he's in the first one. That's what's, hold on. I'm pulling up the cast here. Oh, come on. So we have Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Rick Yoon, and Chad Lindbergh. Yeah. Yeah. Ludacris isn't in the first one, but he does appear later on.
Right.
So as a lot of comic relief. So yeah,
Well,
which is
like I
needed.
said, I like the first guy that was in this one. And there's the Hispanic guy that was the other racer that meet Paul Walker, initially.
Yeah.
I was like,
Hector.
I was waiting for them to like do some dirty-handed stuff, but they weren't. They were cool with them. They were like, "Oh, okay, this guy wants to race.
Yeah.
He's going to blow up his engine, but it's going to be fun to watch." And they basically knew how it was going to all work out, but they had no hard on against the guy. They were there to have a good time. That was it, and make money. And I like those guys. And then I never saw him again. I was like, wait, they showed up for 2 I think they showed the Hispanic guy. I forgot his character's name.
Hector.
But while Walker's like sneaking into his, clubhouse or whatever, and I'm like, you drove up in the delivery truck.
I know. And then of course
Like,
gets
who
busted.
does that? See, it's things like that that drove me nuts. The one edit, and then I'm going to tell you how I feel about this movie. The one edit that I thought was the worst edit in the movie. Paul Walker's talking to the bastard FBI guy that's in charge. And he's
Oh
gonna
God,
get
yeah.
paid for everything. And he says, "You don't know, who this guy is. He beat a guy to death, almost beat a guy to death with a wrench." And then the edit goes to him, Paul Walker's character, with Vin Diesel's character in a garage talking, and Vin Diesel opens up about beating the guy with a wrench and this and that.
Yeah.
And it is really a good character moment, put in the absolute worst spot it could be. Because right after that, Paul Walker is out on a date or something with Vin Diesel's sister. And I'm like, they should have put that scene in between. Then later on had the conversation about the beating. And it was just bad choices.
Yeah,
I felt all around for a lot of storytelling, but that's, if you're in it for the story, don't. Race cars for me, they were okay. The race scenes were okay. Way unbelievable for me. But again, like you said, the other ones, are out of the world. So I'll be able to go into that and go, okay.
Just unplug. It's good. Prepare for stupid.
I couldn't unplug on this one because there was nothing so fantastic for me to go, oh, I see what they're doing. They're making a cartoon world. Got it. There was nothing that fantastic. They were just,
get there.
Like, I want to see all of you go to jail.
Yeah.
There's nothing redeeming about any of you.
They become likable. They really do. So I'm going to take it. You do not recommend it. And is that your take?
I wouldn't say go watch it. I mean, watch it if you want to, but nah, I wouldn't. Had I known how bad this movie was going to be going into it,
it's so funny,
which is just as bad as the original Fast and Furious, almost as bad. It is better, but not
it's
much.
definitely better.
But yeah, I would have just skipped it. I would have said no.
Fair enough.
But I am going to watch some of the other ones.
I do recommend that. I have just such a wildly different take on that. I like this movie. I love the series. I'm into a lot of Japanese race cars and the tuning and shit. I love watching that shit and seeing how it's done. I don't know. It's just something about this movie clicks with me, and all the others did too. It's just, they're fun, and hey, they are not for everyone. Yes, there are writing issues in this. There are acting issues in it. Things are just way too convenient for Paul Walker to throw away his whole FBI career for this Vin Diesel's hot sister.
Yeah.
So
she wasn't that hot. She was hot, but she wasn't that hot.
She was to him. And the thing it got me is how he let Dominic Toretto go way too easy.
Yeah.
It's like, what kind of cop are you? Yes, you saw he was innocent and not really as bad as he was portrayed, but he was still hijacking. He was a pirate. He was a pirate, basically. They were robbing 18-wheelers. Yeah.
Yeah. He was going to get somebody killed eventually.
Yes.
If they didn't
and damn near
kill
did.
Somebody.
Yes. Yeah, if they didn't already. Yeah. And they damn near lost one of the guys. So, but all of a sudden he decides to be this hero and save. It didn't quite work. Right. And I get where they were going with the story. So, but it's, you know what? This is one just don't take seriously. So I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you enjoyed it a lot more than I did.
I love it. I love it. I know you don't. Yeah. So anyway, folks, if you like the show, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen or watch. And we will catch you next week with something else old ass related. Laters.